Athletes are managed under Athletes and Roster. One thing that makes entering athletes easier is to click on the short form checkbox here. This will deactivate the address information and allow you to enter only the necessary information for each swimmer. You can then move through the fields using Enter or Tab to add the athletes very quickly. If you have an athlete that is on the team but is not currently competing or has quit the team, you can mark them as inactive. This will keep them from showing up in the roster when you are entering swimmers and meets, and they will not show up on some of the Coach's Corner reports. You can also filter the roster by level, or by gender, or by active or inactive to allow you to see the athletes that you need quickly. You can make changes to grade or gender quickly by changing them in the grid. And use the arrow keys to move around. You can also make changes to the format that the class is recorded in. You can either record the class with alphanumeric characters like this, or with numeric characters like this. If you have a mixed set and you change one athlete's class format, you will be asked if you want to change the format for all of the grades. Answering yes will change all of the grades to the format that you chose for the first athlete. Answering no will change only that athlete's format. You can also export the roster by clicking on the Export button and selecting where you want to save the roster. The exported roster will look like this. You can also export an empty roster, email the file to a visiting team, and have them fill in the appropriate information and send it back to you. You can then import the roster by clicking on Import and selecting the correct file. If the file name doesn't match the team name, it will ask you if you are sure that you want to import the roster anyway. Clicking Yes will import the file into the team that you selected, and the swimmers will be added to the existing swimmers if there are any. You can also import high-text CL2 files into a team roster, even if it's an entry file. Click Import, change the files of type to hightech.cl2, select the file, and click OK. The CL2 does not happen to be a roster file, it's actually from some meet entries, but we can import the swimmers anyway. If the roster is not for the selected team, it will create the team in your system and import the roster into the new team. The roster was imported, and if we go and look, there they are. If you have an athlete whose name has been misspelled, you can change it here and it will be changed wherever they are found in the system. However, if you have imported a meet and the athlete's name was spelled incorrectly, or it was entered as a nickname rather than a given name, they will be in the roster twice with different names. You cannot change it without getting an error that this athlete already exists. Because they are entered in a meet, you can't delete them either. This is where Find and Replace comes in handy. You can find that under Athletes below the roster option. Select the team that you're working with. On the left, select the incorrect spelling. And then on the right, select the correct spelling. You will now be finding the wrong name and replacing it with the right one. Double check to make sure that you have it correct, then click Replace. It will ask you several times if you're sure that this is what you want to do. The incorrectly spelled name will then be replaced with the correctly spelled name everywhere it occurs in the system. This assigns all of the times to the correct swimmer as well. You will then be asked if you want to delete the incorrect swimmer from the roster. And it will delete them for you if you say yes, but it will leave them there if you say no.